To video project for rich media optimization. The topic I will be discussing tonight is techniques to lower your file sizes when saving file images for the web. One of the things that they usually ask here, the first thing we'll look at is techrepublic.com on their blog, and one of the things they usually encourage is the use of 3 different types of photo saving techniques, such as GIF, JPEG, and PNG. Now, the GIF or GIF is usually a bitmap with a grid made of pixel squares and can be done up to 256 colors. This is usually great for graphics, charts, bullet points, icons, buttons, textual details, and other things. The JPEG format is usually better for photo galleries on your site. It's good for saving images with millions of colors if that's a possibility, and is good for images with a variety of shades and different gradients. You can save it at different levels, such as maximum, very high, high, medium, or low, and you can compress the image and see what happens with the load time after these other configurations have been made. Of course, this can be adjusted as needed. The PNG file supports a larger range of colors, but later led to the GIF file type. This is usually results when you save in PNG in larger file sizes. However, at the same time, it's good for pictures of buttons, icons, etc., which are smaller in dimension. This can be found again at techrepublic.com. Some tips also found at TechRepublic that we can say is they'd like you to save a copy of the image as a lossless version, or one that you can come back and re-edit if necessary. Okay. Selecting the JPEG file format to save the final image is usually what is advisable after all editions have been made. They test several quality and compression settings to see if they can find a perfect balance between the quality and load times. Again, adjust as necessary to try to get the best load time and picture quality as possible for your website. To use medium or low compression setting if the image is a background image on the website is highly suggested. For background images, to try to keep the size around 10 kilobytes or less. For banners and headers at about 60 kilobytes or less. And of course for high-end photography, to keep them at about 100 kilobits or less is preferable for maximum quality and load times on a website. Again, this can be found at techrepublic.com. Next issue we will look at is losslessness versus the lossy image compression. Now, when pointing losslessness or lossiness to a photo, it's using algorithms that Google, search engines, and other types of browsers use to compress and display images on a website. Now, the images are first processed with the lossy filter to eliminate some pixel data. Images are processed with the lossless filter to compress the pixel data after they have been cleaned up with any pixel data that was removed. The amount of lossy or losslessness applied to a photo depends on what type of file it is saved in, whether it be JPEG, PNG, GIF, or other file types. Overall, the balance of losslessness and looseness is what will ultimately determine how an image is received by the eye when the algorithms are applied to it to make it accessible on the web. This and further information on further development of how to properly compress and save photos to save space as well as be efficient on a website can be found at developers.google.com. And of course, we just want to show you results of a GIF, a GIF, a PNG, and a JPEG file, and kind of how they may differ a little bit. Here at the Shopify.com's website in their blog section, they have some sections here that talk about how to more effectively market photos on your website. Here we have the GIF at 24 kilobits, and as you can see, it has some color to it, but it's a little faded. We have the PNG version at 24 kilobits. It looks to be almost the same color, maybe a little less distorted, especially if you look at the edge here of Tom's and then the edges here on this little flag he's holding up. And then we go down to JPEG format at 24 kilobits, where the color is much more vibrant, much more popping to the eye, and much more visible, and probably much more captivating to the user. Okay, well, this is just a few tips that we've gone over today to try to help compress and make your file size a lot smaller, as well as to make the image load time a lot faster and more efficient for your website projects. If you have any questions, please just shoot me an email on FSO. Otherwise, I thank you again for your time and hope you all have a blessed rest of your evening. Have a good one. Bye-bye.